Ladies and gentlemen, introducing Seal of Approval.
Hello there, and welcome back to Seal of Approval, the podcast bringing you weekly judgments on the latest movie news and reviews. I'm Callum, your host, and today I'm joined by my two guests, Nat and Saul.
Hello!
Hello.
Nat, to introduce yourself, tell us one of your top 25 movies of all time.
I just watch movies and I like most of them. I'm a very optimistic viewer. But one of my top 25... Corpse Bride, Tim Burton.
Oh,
Just really pulls on the heartstrings there.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Fab.
That's me.
Very, very grim.
It's kind of dark.
That's a good insight into Nat.
It's a great way to start, isn't it? Oh, I'm a mystery.
Same goes for you, Saul. Do you want to give us another of your favourite films?
Yeah, I'm kind of, now that we're on the Tim Burton stream, I'm wondering if I give one of his.
Ooh.
Do you know what? I'm going to say Beetlejuice.
Hey.
Oh, wow, yes.
We're all a little creepy on the inside.
Do you know what? It was just one of those movies that as a young teenager, I probably shouldn't have been able to watch it. But I was. And I just have memories of, the weird and wacky things that happen in Beetlejuice. And it was just one of the first movies that I'd seen where just things were just really weird and wacky, and it was a totally different world. And you could just, it was just so different.
Yep, absolutely. Nothing makes sense in the best way possible.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why I really like it. Yeah,
and the Banana Boat song. Dun, 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 dun. You might get copyrighted, so I'll stop there.
I'm sure the bots will pick up on that from your rendition.
I'm so good at that.
I don't know what age rating Beetlejuice is, though. So I may have egg on my face when this comes out, when my wife is like, why were you allowed to watch that?
And I'm going to add in Mission Impossible Fallout for me, so... I'm not actually a massive Tim Burton fan. Off the top of my head, I can't even think of one of his movies that I like. So sorry to let the team down.
Not even Edward Scissorhands.
No, I actually hated that movie.
What about The Big Fish?
Nope.
No,
I can agree. I hated The Big Fish.
What? I freaking love The Big Fish.
As much as I like Ewan McGregor, sorry.
Come on. The soundtrack on that. Okay, never mind. I didn't come here for my movie expertise. I came here because I studied radio.
Nat, you are living up to being a movie optimist.
Oh, yes. Okay, thank you.
Okay, now that we've let everybody judge our tastes, let's move on to the all-important points, and we start, as you might expect, with round one. Movie news highlights of the week. In this round, I offer up clues to each of my guests, and they gain a point if they correctly guess which movie news item it refers to. So let's start with Saul this week.
Yes.
Okay, first clue for you, Saul. Which spider might end up in a chocolate factory?
Oh, yes. Tom Holland is being... What are they saying? Being touted as being in the Willy Wonka prequel. And I do know that fans of the originals do not like it.
Yes. No, you are quite right, Saul. Warner Brothers has set an official release date for the Charlie and Chocolate Factory prequel that will focus on the origins of Willy Wonka, and the studio is looking at either Tom Holland or Timothée Chalamet for the lead role.
Timothée Chalamet.
So who would you cast, either of you?
I don't know.
If you had to.
I mean, that's a tough one. I think I probably, if you want to capitalize on Tom Holland's popularity at the moment, I'd probably go with him.
Yeah, you'd get every 13 to 21-year-old girl in the theatre to watch that.
Yes,
you would. Good point. Yeah.
But
There you are.
didn't both the previous Willy Wonkas, like, they weren't keen on the prequel, right? They were both Johnny Depp and sorry. Tell me who the other Willy Wonka was, the older guy.
Gene Wilder.
Yeah.
Oh,
Who are you
yes.
looking for?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they both were just like, oh, why does it need a prequel? And I'm kind of in the same boat. I mean, Willy Wonka's kind of good, right? Just leave it where it is.
Yes. Yeah. Well, I was going to ask, is a prequel a good idea?
Oh.
I completely agree that it is not a good idea. So
I don't know. I disagree. I kind of want to see before the Charlie stage.
You mean you weren't satisfied with the dentist background story that they gave us in the Tim Burton one?
No, that needs to be fixed. That is a Tim Burton movie that I am not happy with. That needs to be fixed.
I would have to agree. I think Johnny Depp's version of Willy Wonka is just weird. I'm assuming they were trying to do a parody, or they're inspired by Michael Jackson in his later life. I don't know. I definitely got those kind of vibes, but
Yeah, it wasn't a good Willy Wonka. I mean, I didn't like the way he portrayed him.
It was just kind of unsettling.
which kind of sums up Tim Burton in general, doesn't it?
Yeah, no, that's. I think that's Tim Burton. I think I've read a quote from him is that if the audience isn't feeling unsettled, then he hasn't done his job, basically. And that's why what makes his movies so good is because he actually pulls you into it and makes you feel just as weird and awkward and nervous as the actual character. So
Gotta love it.
Or not, in my case. But yes. I was not a fan of Tim Burton's version, as much as I love Christopher Lee. Did you both like the original movie?
Yeah.
Yeah, the original with Gene Wilder.
The soundtrack. Cheer Up Charlie is like my favorite song of all time.
Okay.
You can trash my movie taste, not my music taste.
I wouldn't say it would be the best music of all time.
No, but Cheer Up Charlie is like one of my personal favorite songs. It's just so sweet. It's like a little mum wanting to sing to her son. Like, who doesn't love that?
All right.
I'll be honest, when I was a kid, I totally skipped all of that right up to the point that Charlie gets his golden ticket.
Yeah.
I used to, on the VHS, fast forward it right through.
They heard it just super fast.
Get through the boring parts.
Yeah, exactly. The original, it's funny, I'm torn because I like most of the movie. I think it's fun. But the ending, it always used to confuse me.
Mm-hmm.
Where Willy Wonka kind of blows up at Charlie. And obviously in the movie they change it so that Charlie and actually do make a mistake themselves in that they try the bubble burp.
Yeah, the bubble juice.
Fizzy pop or
The
whatever
flying
it is.
thing.
Yeah. And so to me that kind of, as much as I like the rest of the movie, almost devalues the point of it because, from a writing standpoint, how are they then different from
everyone else? Yeah.
Yeah, any of the other kids who also acted up, other than the fact that he gives back the gobstopper, which I don't know, it never seemed to make sense to me.
Yeah. I mean, a world where there's never-ending gobstoppers and chewing gum that turns into full-on meals and people turning into blueberries and being sucked up a chocolate tube it's super realistic.
It doesn't change the writing of the internal consistency of the world that they have created.
No, you're right. I totally agree with you.
Broken. No, it's just the ending. So, in my opinion, I would actually be down for another reboot, but I'm not sure whether I would be down for a prequel. I'm not sure the prequel's necessary, but I'd be interested in seeing another rendition.
Could you not see a prequel leading on to a new reboot, like doing a whole new,
Wonka?
A whole new world of Charlie and Willy Wonka and just making it their own. The Road Dial cinematic universe.
Ooh, that would be disastrous.
I'm just now picturing like the giant crocodile.
Yep. And then George's Marvelous Medicine.
Yeah, all converging into one
twitches.
cinematic universe. Yeah. Yes.
Do you know they did do a reboot recently of The Witches, and that did not go down well. So.
I haven't seen it myself. I don't know if have either of you seen.
No.
I've only read reviews.
Yeah. I saw the picture of Anne Hathaway with her Joker mouth, and I was just like, ooh, maybe not. Maybe not today. And it's been like that every day since.
Yeah, yeah, fair enough. That's partially why I've avoided it as well. But you never know. Maybe I'll check it out at some point. I don't know. To be honest, the CGI mice kind of put me off a little bit as well.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah. Okay, well, in that case, we'll move on. But I'll leave you with a quote that I found on Twitter. But it kind of sums up my thoughts on it. And he says, I think the bigger discussion is that the more you explain Willy Wonka, the less interesting he becomes as a character. He is an absolute mystery, which lends him power.
Ooh, I like that.
I lean towards agreeing with that, but so you're more than entitled to enjoy the Wonka prequel when it comes out in 2 years' time.
I was about to say, that sounds more like a Tim Burton quote than anything else.
It's him on Twitter just trying to get people to stick with his vision.
Yeah.
He's just trash talking. Everyone's like, yeah, no, that idea sucks, right? The Burton movie was way better. Yeah.
His dad's a dentist. Deal with it.
Okay, so now I have a clue for Nat.
Ah.
So here you go, Nat. First test. Which fans can tell you how they got these scars?
Oh! Wasn't it? It was Heath Ledger's 13th anniversary of his death, right? Is that what you're going for?
You are spot on.
Whoa!
Yeah,
Oh, nice.
100% correct. Maybe
Tragedy.
don't sound so
Excited about it. I was just excited to be participating and getting something sort of half right.
That is definitely a point to you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it is 13 years since Heath Ledger tragically passed away. First question for you guys: how many Heath Ledger movies have you seen?
Ooh, probably just the 3. What was that? The 10 Things I Hate About You, Dark Knight, and there was that other one, A Knight's Tale. Yeah.
A Knight's Tale, yes.
Yeah, those 3. So Ulrich von Liechtenstein or whatever.
Yeah, there you go.
Mm-hmm.
That's actually my favorite one that he did. I know he did a great job being the Joker, but I think a much lighter character was better for him.
Yeah, I actually agree. I love that movie.
Yeah. He was also beautiful. Did you see that? Have you guys seen that?
Wow.
As the female perspective here, I'm sure.
That's why we have you on the show now.
Yeah. Thank
diversity.
You can't deny it. What was it? There was that one interview that he did, and he just like made out with the interviewer. He was just standing there, and then she asked a dumb question, and he's like, "What?" And then he's like, blah, blah, and then that was it.
Yeah, he had an interesting relationship with the media.
Yeah, to say the least.
Especially in his hometown of Australia. I think they proved to be unfounded. I'm not sure, but the paparazzi claimed that he had spat at them on the set of one of his movies, and that another family member had also spat at them when they tried to, invade their personal space.
Oh no!
Yeah, exactly.
They retaliated.
Yeah. To the point that the paparazzi on the red carpet of Brokeback Mountain actually sprayed water pistols at him in retaliation. So, yeah,
well,
so there you
good
go.
for them.
Despite him being loved by most fans of his movies, clearly he just had a bit of an interesting relationship with the media until he passed away, of course, and then
everyone loved him.
Everyone loved him. Which leads me to his next question. Do you think his reputation is warranted? Everybody seems to think he was an amazing actor, and do you think that's fair?
I think he covered some. There was a lot of diversity in the characters that he played, for sure, and he did them all pretty well. I found that most of them believable, and isn't that what you want from a good story? Is believable characters, lovable characters, hateable characters. I think he did good, and I think he's worth the hype. It's just sad how it all ended, really.
Yeah.
Mm.
I mean, you had a conversation about method actors a couple podcasts back, I believe.
Yep.
And, because he was I don't know if he was a huge method actor or if he was, but I've heard that he would get into his character even off set. I think he was one of the better actors of that era, to be honest. I don't think you could have stuck someone in A Knight's Tale and then told them a minute later to be the Joker, and they would have just hit the nail with both of those characters and done them so well. I mean, Jared Leto tries, but
Well, it's interesting that actually when Christopher Nolan first announced that he had chosen Heath Ledger for the role of the Joker, there was a bit of immediate uproar because nobody thought he could do it. They knew him from these lighter-hearted movies, and obviously Christopher Nolan saw his potential, which fortunately for us, so originally they didn't have much faith in him, but he definitely proved them wrong. I don't know how much of a method actor he was in his other roles, but definitely he inhabited the Joker, and that probably led to some of the issues that contributed to his death. I would have thought, with his insomnia and etc. He apparently said that there was nights where he'd only get about 2 hours sleep during the shooting of it because his mind just wouldn't shut down from the role, which is pretty crazy.
That's terrifying. Imagine being stuck in, of all the characters you could get stuck in, getting stuck in the Joker 24/7. No, thank you.
Yeah.
I mean, pretty terrifying for everyone working with him.
True.
I'm trying to put this nicely or correctly. He ended on a great note, though, didn't he? He doing that movie. That is one of the absolute classic Batman movies. And if you ask anyone what one of their favorite Batman movies were, I would say most people would say that would be in the top 2.
For sure. I mean, it's actually probably one of my top movies, period, let alone Batman movies. Just so well crafted. And his character obviously plays a massive part in that. In fact, that's actually why The Dark Knight Rises, the writing for that movie isn't quite so tight, because the original plan was for the Joker to return, and he's sort of the catalyst, which then introduces Bane into the story. Yeah, they had to go through some major rewrites after his passing, which is obviously a shame.
What, they didn't want to CGI him into the movie like they seem to be doing with every Star Wars movie.
No, thank you. So, my last question for you guys for this particular item: is there a movie role that you wish Heath Ledger could have played?
Ooh.
If he'd still been around, is there anything that you would have liked to cast him in?
Willy Wonka.
Yes! The prequel or the remake?
To be honest, I think I'd probably be down for either. That's actually not a bad shout. I mean, I kind of laughed at first, but then, even as a reboot, I could definitely see that. Like I say, I'm still not sold on a prequel idea, but but not a bad shout. Yeah, I'm trying to think what superhero cast him as.
No, you've got to cast him as a villain. You can't cast him as a superhero now. If he had been in Suicide Squad, totally different movie.
Oh, yeah. See, now I just kind of want to see him in, like how Callum was saying earlier, I want to see that storyline now when he's the catalyst with Bane and everything, because that sounds cool. I just want to see him come back as that iconic character that we all know and love and hate at the same time. That would be cool.
Yes. Yeah. Although, actually, thinking about it, I think I'd really be down for Adam Warlock. You guys might not be familiar with. Is a character in the comics, in the Marvel comics, who was teased at the end of Guardians of the Galaxy 2 in the final post-credit scene, I think. Or one of them, they had like 5 post-credit scenes in that movie.
Mm-hmm.
And essentially, he is this super being that is created. And in the comics, he has a lot to do with defeating Thanos and things like that. But obviously, that didn't happen. But
he's the one that crazy gold lady makes.
Yes, spot on. So I think actually that would be really cool to see him.
That would be cool.
But yeah. Okay, well, moving on. I'll open this next clue up to either of you. So the first person to jump in with the right answer gets the point. Here you go. Which character may not have had their end game just yet.
Oh yeah, Captain
Thanos!
America.
Oh.
I'm afraid I have to give that one to Saul.
Oh.
Captain America, Chris Evans, has been in talks to return as Captain America and is close to finalising a deal, apparently, to bring back Steve Rogers in at least one movie and potentially a second. But you are also right, Nat, so I'll definitely give you half a point for that.
Half a point.
The creator of Thanos believes that the Mad Titan will also be back via the new Eternals movie.
Yeah.
But we'll see how that plays
I've
out.
just seen all the memes flying around with like the little baby Thanos, and they're like, "Oh, he's back! Oh, look out!"
Oh yeah, a Thanos
Like,
prequel.
Can you imagine?
Spoiler warning, Thanos actually is Willy Wonka.
And it's going to be a CGI Heath Ledger.
No. Thanos is his dentist dad.
No.
Yes, true.
I did read an interesting article about Falcon, Anthony Mackie, not being salty at all and being happy that Captain America was going to return if that happened.
Really? I think he's lying through his teeth.
I think he's probably would be happy to work with Chris Evans again because I think they are actually mates. But yeah, in terms of what it means for his character and the limelight, I doubt he's that thrilled.
Yeah.
But that leads me to the question: is it right for him to return?
The only way I can see him returning is if it's an offshoot with the Infinity Stones or something like that. It's not a big role. You know, he comes in as a side part of the story.
Yeah.
Because he's suddenly they've done something weird again. Maybe Doctor Strange creates the multiverse, whatever, or opens it all up and he's there, or he's doing something with the stones and he's not old and creepy anymore. If that makes sense.
So you're not keen for a wrinkled Steve Rogers?
Little pruny Steve. Little pruny Steve Rogers.
Chris Evans originally said, and has been saying since Endgame came out, that Endgame was his last appearance and he was putting it behind him. He very much appreciated the journey, but, you know, it's right for the character to retire. So do you think he should stick to his guns, or is it okay that he's now apparently just taking the paycheck?
I think he should stick to his guns. I just don't like the emotional turmoil as a fan to have all of this stuff done and then it's like, oh, it's not that bad because they're coming back in the next movie. You know, I hate it when they do that. And when it comes to like the MCU and superheroes in general, there are so many loopholes where they can be like, oh, new timeline, blah blah blah, or they traveled back in time, blah, 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 or parallel universe, different dimension. There's so many different things that they can do with it. Like, one or two would be all right, but they've already done the time traveling thing with Endgame, and it's like, just let them go. just let the end be the end and give us something new. Like, I love Chris Evans, believe me. I love myself some Captain America. But it's just don't undo all the hard work that you've done in building this universe by just bringing back characters because you felt like it or because you think the fans will be happier with it. We'll be happier with a good, cohesive story.
Yeah, that's exactly my feeling.
I'm leaning towards the idea, and here you go, conspiracy theory for you guys. I wonder if it's anything to do with the fact that they feel that the MCU going forward actually has a lack of leadership that the fans can properly get behind, especially after the tragic passing of Chadwick Boseman, right? I think people would have got behind Black Panther as the new sort of leader of the Avengers. I'm not sure if any of the other current characters are capable of leading an Avengers movie, so I'm going to throw that out there. That's why they're kind of trying to angle to bring him back.
I was curious, and I am curious to see how they were going to all connect it and who they were going to bring in. I mean, were they going to try and make Captain Marvel the leader? Because everyone else they've not been the core group. They've just been add-ons to most of the movies. They've not been the lead character unless you're Ant-Man, but he's never going to the Avengers.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
But
Paul
you know what I
Rudd's
mean. Like,
amazing.
yeah, none of them. You could really go. Oh yeah, no, they've been at the lead of this whole storyline or this event or this kind of crisis that's happened. They've just been the guys that they call in to assist. So I just don't. I wanted to see how they were going to connect it all and create a new group. They were going to have another, another moment where they faked killing someone and then bring them back on a TV episode so that the group would be cohesive.
Well, that's the thing. I like Doctor Strange and Benedict Cumberbund. I like I like his Doctor Strange, but again, I'm not sure whether he's the right character to lead. Again, I like Tom Holland's Spider-Man. I don't think
No
I would
way.
appreciate him leading the Avengers. Brie Larson is incredibly annoying as a person, and her character is also poorly written and too overpowered. So I'm definitely not down for her.
Yeah, I was watching some interviews where she's just like it's so annoying, just seeing her getting interviewed, and that's all I can see when I see her as Captain Marvel.
Yeah, well, her attitude almost comes out on screen, and it's not enjoyable. I would have loved Captain Marvel if one, the writing had been a bit better in that movie, but also if they'd had Emily Blunt or just a more likable actress.
Yeah, every time I look at her, I see her character from what Scott Pilgrim.
Scott Pilgrim versus the World.
Yeah. I just hate her, and I want to punch her face, but then I'm like, oh, she'll probably kill me.
Yeah, it's funny when I was watching Endgame in the cinemas on the opening night. Everybody cheered when Thanos punched her with the Power Stone. So clearly, she's not the person to lead the next event.
I just don't get how she is so powerful. I just don't get where that fits in the story. Like, she's so powerful, yet she just disappeared, and like the whole universe is.
They had to make it disappear for the movie because otherwise the movie wouldn't happen if she was around because she's just too powerful.
Yeah.
And that is the problem with the MCU is that they haven't properly established the power levels, and it kind of messes with the, it's like, are they actually in danger now? Because I thought Hulk is impervious to most things.
Yeah.
But now suddenly the
Just
wolf
kidding.
is fighting him, and so it's a little bit inconsistent with there. But I think, I personally would rather Chris Evans leaves it behind him. Same with Robert Downey Jr. Like I love them both. I think they're great in their roles. But let's move on.
Oh, it's definitely time for Robert Downey Jr. to leave the role. Yeah. Like, he cannot come back.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, sounds personal there.
Yeah, I know. It sounds like you're personally offended by Robert Downey Jr. earning $70 million from each time he appears in an MCU movie. So.
No, his storyline. They've closed it off. I mean, they've closed it. They've actually fully closed the storyline off. With Captain America, it's possible because he had the stones. And he had to go back and put them back where they came from. And then also he's at the end of the movie, he's actually technically still around. But Iron Man, Tony Stark, he's not there. He's done. He's dead.
Gone.
He's gone. Yeah, you don't bring him back. Like, that's called witchcraft.
Witchcraft.
like I mean, I guess they could do it with the time stone and I don't know. I just don't think it would fit. I don't think it'd be good for the storyline to bring him back.
Yep, I agree. Like I say, I think it's a massive shame that we don't have Chadwick Boseman anymore because I totally would have seen his Black Panther leading the Avengers going forward.
Yeah.
Anyway, and with that, we're on to round 2.
Mostly rotten.
In this round, my guests have to guess the Rotten Tomato scores for various movies, and the closest guess wins the points. Today, we're going to have a look at the Ledgerverse. First up is 10 Things I Hate About You. So, Nat, seeing as you're a fan of this movie, could you give us the critics score?
Well, it's a lovey-dovey little rom-com moment. Surely they can't hate it that much, right? Surely.
Your guess, Nat?
My guess is getting there. I'm gonna go with 70%.
Okay, and for you, Saul, what do you think the critics gave 10 Things I Hate About You?
I don't think they gave him 70%. I think that's your optimistic viewing.
Hey, his hair in that movie is incredible.
Because that's what the critics are watching for.
Yes.
I'm gonna go with 59%.
Aw.
59%. Okay,
Boo.
well, I can confirm that the critics were indeed looking at the waviness of Heath's hair,
Yeah.
and it is in fact 69%.
Ah,
No
should've known.
way.
So very close.
That's
Oh.
insane.
Yeah.
Who were
I
these
love-
critics?
They were all me. All of these
They're all-
critics were me. And I had to bring it down from 100 to make it less suspicious, you know? It'd be like, what would people still believe? Not 70, but 69.
Wow. I
Yeah.
totally disagree.
That's not correct.
Look, I think the writing is fair enough. Rom-coms are totally not my genre, so I'm always going to be biased against them. But I will admit that out of rom-coms, I think the writing is better than what you typically get. But in that case, Saul, what do you think the audience gave the movie?
Oh, goodness me. I'm going to go 70%.
70%? Okay. And for you, Nat?
I want to go higher, but I also think it would be funny if they accidentally rated it lower than the critics. So I'm going to go 68.
68.
68%.
Wow. Okay. Well, this is the first time it's happened, but it's actually a tie between you both because it is the same as the critics score, 69%.
You're kidding.
Yeah, so,
Wow.
well, we'll split the difference. How about a point to me? A point for each of you, I reckon.
Ooh.
Oh, everybody loves Heath. Everybody loves him. And what's his
Yeah.
name? The other little guy? Joseph? Gordon?
Gordon Levitt.
Yeah, he was in it too, right? Right?
Yeah. We'll move on to the next movie. Saul, do you want to give us the critic score for A Knight's Tale, your favourite Heath Ledger movie?
Oh, I've been rocked by that first one.
Just go with 69 again.
I liked A Knight's Tale, but that doesn't mean that critics liked it. I'm gonna go with 81%.
81%.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm going high on this one, judging by the last one.
For you, Nat?
I don't know how well critics like Anton Ego from Ratatouille would receive. Isn't it like a rocky musical based in medieval times? So I think they're going to rate it super low. So I'm going to go for like 49%.
49%.
Yeah.
Well, in that case, Nat, you get the point. It is 59%.
Oh, somebody make me a movie critic already. Like, I know these things.
Yes, no, the critics were not thrilled by A Knight's Tale. It's not a terrible score, but I'm pretty sure that means that it's not certified fresh. That might be rotten on there, however they rate it.
Well, they're wrong.
I 100% agree. Do you want to give us the audience score then, Nat?
Okay, all right. I think everybody enjoyed it, so I'm going to go with a hearty 95%.
95%.
Ooh.
Okay. 95%. And for you, Saul?
She's going 95. Okay.
Yep.
In that case, I'm gonna go 94.
Well, in that case, by using Charles's dirty tactics, Saul, you have gained a point.
Yes.
Actually, 79%.
Oh, see, that's
Ah.
closer to what I thought the critics were gonna do. No, I'm glad I used the dirty tactic there. Thank you very much.
Filthy.
Secure the point.
So, and as punishment for that, Saul, do you want to give us the critic score for The Dark Knight?
The Dark Knight. Oh, 98.
Okay. And for you, Nat, what do you think The Dark
I'm gonna go because everybody loved that movie, right? Right?
It was a terrible movie. No one-
0. I'm going to go with 93.
93?
93. I'm trying to get hints in Callum's voice, but you're not giving anything away. So.
Okay, locked in at 93%. In that case, then, Nat, you are right. It is 94%.
Oh, way! How are
I'm
you
so good at this.
Can we get some video evidence that it is not on her screen?
Yeah.
No, you cannot.
That's what all these noises are about. She's just buying time while she
Well, I type
searches
it in silently.
Yeah. All right, Saul, do you want to give us the audience score then?
Not really, judging by how I've been doing, but I will. The audience score. Oh, there's always some haters. I'm gonna go 90, 94. 94.
4%. Okay, and for you, Saul. Sorry, Nat.
Oh no, I am Saul. He is
I'll
Nat.
I'll have 2 votes for this one. 2 goes at it.
I would say 95.
95. Well,
95.
Saul, you are bang on. It is 94%.
Oh, yes. Following the pattern. Follow the pattern.
Just like 10 Things I Hate About You, The Dark Knight was received by the critics the same as the audience, 94% for both of those scores.
Oh, wow.
And now for the final round, and we're back to Movie News Highlights of the Week. We'll start this round with Nat. Your first clue. Which franchise's life might not find a way?
What? Which franchise's life might not find a way?
Yes, I have a second clue if you need it.
Yes, please.
Okay, second clue. Which movie series has an asteroid headed towards it?
I am drawing a blank. I've got no clue. Have you got another clue?
No, that's it. So if you need to pass it on, I can pass it to Saul.
An asteroid. Yep, give it to Saul. I'm sorry to disappoint all of my fans out there. I cannot. I cannot think.
I will gladly take this one.
Saul, tell us what it is.
It is Jurassic Park. They are bringing it to the close.
Yes.
Am I right?
Yes, you are spot on.
The asteroid thing. Got it.
The Jurassic World 3 Dominion will bring the entire Jurassic franchise to a close. So, are you guys sad to see the Jurassic movies go?
No. I mean, as much as I like Chris Pratt, I just don't think that they encapsulated the originals. They just didn't do them justice. I mean, the originals just seem so much more, I guess, less CGI'd.
So much more less CGI.
Yeah, I mean, they just seemed better. They just seemed like I have more nostalgia for those ones, and the new ones just seem like, a bunch of people running around hoping a dinosaur doesn't eat them.
Yeah, I agree. I haven't really been following it, to be honest. How many Chris Pratt movies have there been?
2.
Yeah, and I think I've seen half of one and it wasn't that memorable. So, surely they go out with a bang in this last one and then they just leave it where it is and kind of leave it alone. There's not... What do we know what the plot is looking like for this last one?
No real clues as to plot, but we do know that all of the original actors from the first movie will be returning for the final installment. So
that's fun.
I am keen to see that.
So that's Sam Neill, Laura Dern, Jeff
and
Goldblum.
Jeff.
Can we get some more dad jokes in this one then? Where he climbs the electric fence and then shocks his kids. That makes me think I think it'll be a good movie with those actors included. But yeah, it definitely needs to come to a close. The writing of the latest ones, it just seemed like they were capitalizing on the history of the series rather than actually putting out good movies.
With the name. They were just
Yeah.
writing the name, eh?
Everyone
Nostalgia
wants to
based,
see
yeah.
dinosaurs run around. What if dinosaurs were around today? Everyone wants to see that. But now we have Godzilla and King Kong for that. So we don't need Jurassic Park.
All right. That's happening.
I don't know, to be honest, because I think really, although I like the first three movies, I would say the only good one is actually the original.
Mm-hmm.
I think the first trilogy is not really a trilogy. It's quite disjointed. They're more just standalone films, and then obviously, the Jurassic World movies I've not been impressed with at all.
Yeah.
No real characters. Most of the CG, it's kind of the original movies use the dinosaurs more sparingly. One, because obviously the CG wasn't as great, but also, that almost helped them out.
Yeah.
You get enough with these interesting characters that they made, and you don't have enough time to spend looking at CGI monsters that your brain automatically knows aren't real. Yeah, I would love to have a Jurassic movie that isn't connected to Jurassic World, almost like rebooting Jurassic World. But I just would like a really well written movie about dinosaurs, I guess, is what I'm saying.
Just in case you didn't know, part of Captain America returning is that he mixes up the stones and he goes back in time all the way to the dinosaurs. So
I'm all in for that. Yes, please.
Captain America beating up some raptors.
Captain America's trying to bring dinosaurs back into our time, so he's actually the villain in the movie. And Thanos, aka Willy Wonka, played by Heath Ledger, is actually he's the hero of the story, and he's trying to stop Captain America.
Mm-hmm.
That's a great storyline.
Yeah,
There you go.
I see no holes. I am ready for it.
So I know Hollywood is listening to this podcast regularly, so take notes.
This is what the audience wants. This is what we want.
Mm-hmm.
My final question then would be, how do you think the franchise will end? Will dinosaurs be removed from the Earth in this movie, or do you think they will take over in a kind of Planet of the Apes style?
I think a plague comes and it starts with a C, and then it wipes out.
It's just a virus. The whole movie is
the virus.
Sam Neill trying to put masks on dinosaurs.
Hand sanitizer.
The T-Rex can't do it because it's got tiny little hands.
And that's how the end begins.
Yes. Scratch that, Hollywood. This is the movie we want. Okay.
Coronavirus Rex.
That's the best. Oh no, I don't know how they're gonna end it. Like, they tailor it to the mass public, so it can't be just this gruesome scene at the end where the dinosaurs actually eat everyone.
I think they could do that. That would be fun. Full hostile takeover.
I would give massive props to the writers. All right, okay, so place your bets now. Which way is it going to end? Dinosaurs rule or humans rule?
Dinos.
I'm gonna go opposite. Humans rule.
Humans, okay. I'm going to hope for dinos, but I think, most likely
Yeah.
end with humans. I don't know, the second Jurassic World movie was all about them flip-flopping between whether dinosaurs were going to be out in the real world or whether they were all going to be extinct and blah, blah, blah. So,
And they won't kill Chris Pratt.
either way, I don't really care too much. But I'll be honest. But yes, for all of you listeners out there, you many, many listeners, place your bets as well. And we'll see when Jurassic World Dominion finally releases who takes over the Earth. Moving on. Now I have a clue for Saul. Which actor was thrown into blockbuster prison?
Blockbuster prison. What I am thinking at the moment. Give me another clue if I can get another one.
You certainly may. Clue number 2. Who didn't appreciate being Disney's race card?
Oh, Disney's race card. Oh, it was. John. How do you pronounce his last name?
Don't tell him. He's just trying to get the
Yeah.
answer out of you.
I was going to say, pick the most generic name. Was it John Smith?
I'll give you the quote. He said that being in a movie franchise was like being in a luxury prison out of the Star Wars movies. And to be honest, that's a prison I'd gladly take. Why are you saying you're in prison? I mean, you get paid a lot of money. All you do, I guess, I don't know. I've never been an actor, but I'm guessing it's not as hard as, being a plumber or working in a mine or being
controversial.
being in an actual prison.
I'm sure Alex will disagree with you. But yes, you're quite right. So this is the news that John Boyega has said blockbuster franchise movies are just luxury prisons for actors. You've kind of already started answering my question for you, Saul.
I generally think that people who live luxury lives and then complain about those luxury lives, I just don't understand it. I generally think that you've lost touch with the common man now. You've lost touch with what the general public actually experience. His life can be hard, and a lot of actors have difficult moments and difficult, hard lives, but I'm not calling that out. I'm calling out this idea that if I'm in luxury, but I have to be bound by a contract, which everyone in the world is to earn, that I'm in prison by this contract.
Yeah, the term luxury prison just doesn't really sit right.
Yeah, no, it doesn't. I have to go into an office every day for 8+ hours to do my work. I'm not calling that a luxury prison.
That's just prison.
That's just Yeah, I think I would have to agree. I've agreed mostly with John Boyega because he's been in the news a lot since Star Wars Episode 9 released. And I agree that his character in that series didn't turn out to be much of a character, really. They kind of did just use him as a bit of a diversity tick, which is a shame because I quite like John Boyega, and I think his character that they initially established had the most potential and was the most interesting. They just didn't. Well, I don't think the writers were actually competent enough to explore the idea of a stormtrooper who's defected and having him struggle with, all right, do I now fight against essentially my brothers and sisters who have also been abducted, or do I, So I don't think they did a great job with that. So I've agreed with him so far in the way that Disney have sort of used him as they needed to, just more for publicity than anything. However, the term luxury prison seems like a bit of an oxymoron, doesn't it?
Yeah, for sure. I wish my prisons were a little more luxurious, If only.
Having said that, acting is a much harder gig than I think most people think.
Yeah.
There is a massive difference between the best performances, or even the weaker ones, that we see on the silver screen in these large movies, and then almost anybody else's attempts to act.
Yeah, I agree with you.
So there is actually a massive gap in talent.
I take back my comment that it doesn't compare to other jobs. All I'm saying is that the reward for that is much higher. Than other jobs.
Yeah, no, which is fair enough. But acting, especially in these big franchise movies, it usually involves a crazy diet and workout schedule. When I was working on, I was training for hours in the morning and then also on set in between takes, and then I was basically only eating plain chicken and broccoli the entire time. So no carbs, no sugar. I've got a bit of a sweet tooth, so it was a nightmare. So it was physically taxing as well as also, the pressure of being on set, but then also, you're working very long days where you have to be constantly alert throughout those 18 hours, because a whole lot of nothing might happen for hours where you're not required, but as soon as it does, it's all go and you have to be present, which is quite draining for both the cast and the crew. That's everybody who's working on set. So I have a massive appreciation for what actors do. But yeah, we kind of touched on before, Robert Downey Jr. getting paid 60, 70 million for an appearance in Endgame, and that's not including, you know, his subsidiary pays, you know, like he'll have written into his contracts, you know, as the movie continues to be sold, he'll be getting money from that, box office returns and whatnot. I think that might be a little excessive.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's the issue I have is the luxury part of it. Like if you're for like you said, there are lots of actors who are out there who are, you know, have to work out, keep a regime, and then have to be on set 18 hours a day and ready to go at any moment. Kind of like a luxury army camp or, you know, something like that. But the luxury prison side just doesn't sit well.
Yeah.
Like I totally agree with your comments, but if you're getting paid millions of dollars or you're on the A-list and you've got a really luxurious lifestyle, a contract isn't a bad thing.
I think, I agree with what you guys are saying, but you can also see where he's coming from, where it's not like he's complaining about the job as a whole. He's like, they dress it up as you know, this big luxurious thing, when maybe in reality it's not, and he's doing all this hard work behind the scenes, and it looks like we get what looks like the payoff, and what looks like, you know, he's getting paid to do minimal things, but like Callum said, a whole lot more actually goes into it behind the scenes. And then when you get that and it's actually like a living hell for the people, then they're like, it's a luxury prison in that sense. So I can see where he's coming from, but like you guys said, it's just not the way you word it, my guy.
Yeah.
just change
Rein it
the
in a bit.
phrasing slightly.
Yeah.
So moving on, I'll open this next clue up to either of you. So first person to jump in with the right answer gets the point. Here goes. Which ministry is under new management?
Harry Potter.
Boom.
Is it HBO Max?
Yes, you're quite right. This is the news that there is new management at Warner Media for the Wizarding World, as they call it these days. Tom Ashim, I'm not actually entirely sure how to pronounce his last name, but he is responsible now for expanding the franchise, and presumably with new movies and an already announced TV series on the way to be put on HBO Max. So, are you guys excited for more Harry Potter spin-offs?
Yeah. I would rather they did a TV series of the original books and rebooted that, did it properly, didn't miss out really important details that they have to continue changing the whole plot for because they forgot to put something in.
Yep. I would agree with you, Saul. I'd actually be keen for a Spider-Verse style animated series where each chapter of the books is actually an episode and they keep it 100% accurate to the source material. Like, down to the colour of the socks that are described. You know what I mean? Like, I would definitely watch that.
That could be fun.
Down to the colour of the eyes.
Well, yeah, and yes, yeah, because obviously Danny Radcliffe has the wrong colour eyes in the movies.
Yeah.
Especially when in the books it makes such a big deal out of him having his mother's green eyes, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know. I would like to see it animated just purely because then you don't have to worry about, you know, the CGI. You're totally immersed in the world then, and there's just, you can make it a different tone. You can straddle the line a bit more between it being serious and funny, whereas I think, especially in the latter movies, they end up being so grim. I know the books get progressively like that, but there's a lot more...
Pretty gloomy.
There's a lot more like fun stuff still in the books, especially in book 5 and 6.
Yeah. Well, but even then, there's just so much more you can do. Like if you had it animated, there's the creatures and the characters and the different magical things, you could do so much better. And they just missed a lot of opportunities, especially like even just the sporting events like the Quidditch. It just
they definitely phased it out after the second movie, didn't they?
Yeah, it just wasn't utilized enough to make you feel like you were actually like in this wizarding world.
And Nat, thoughts on the Harry Potter movies?
I do like the idea of an animated series because then they can avoid the whole awkward situation of, oh, we have to recast these iconic characters, which, people always run into and then shy away from and then make the wrong decisions and upset hordes of people. And like you said, you can do way more actual like magic when it's not a real world. So I agree with that. I am a fan of the older movies. I guess it's just, what I grew up with, what we all grew up with, and so you learn to love them. But yeah, I don't know if it needs all of this, especially with the problematic author, which we won't get into. It's like if they're going to keep expanding the universe, they need to stay true to the source material. But do we want more source material from her? Or does the world will they react well to it? That's the thing as well. It's like will it be as fun or as fresh or as cool as they want it to be with kind of that long gloomy shadow behind it that was her, like I said, a problematic past, which I know separate the art from the artist, but it's still hard to do.
I actually fell asleep during Crimes of Grindelwald.
Yeah.
So I thought it was horrible. And to be honest, and here we go, another hot take for you. I did not enjoy the Harry Potter movies really after the second movie. I loved the ones that were directed by Chris Columbus. I liked his tone and style a lot more than when they went the more gothic route. And so I feel like in an animated series they could get I felt like the first two were actually more true.
Yeah, I never read the books. I know. Shame, how dare.
Oh, well.
What a dweeb. Kick her off the podcast.
If you do anything in your life, you must listen to them by Stephen Fry.
100% sure. Right on.
But as someone who didn't read the book, my little sister is reading them currently, and she's like, I hate it. They didn't do this. They didn't do that. And I was like, oh, well, I'm, in the dark on that sort of thing. So I just watch it, and I appreciate it for what it is. But I have I do understand that if, you grew up with the book, or if you read the book first off, how disappointing it probably could be.
I mean, a good question would be, does it even need to be turned into another franchise, as it were? Probably not. But now that Disney Plus has Star Wars and Marvel, and Amazon has Lord of the Rings and The Boys, HBO Max has Harry Potter and Game of Thrones, Netflix has The Witcher, and sort of Stranger Things and The Umbrella Academy. Begun, the franchise wars has. Yeah. And with that, Saul is on 16 points.
Ooh.
But Nat is streaking ahead with 19.
Ooh.
Yeah.
My number guessing skills.
Yes, which means it's time for some bonus points. These next clues will be quickfire, so they're available to both my guests, and a last chance for Saul to sneak his way back to the top. Here goes. How many movies featured in the 2020 Super Bowl ads have actually made it to cinemas?
It was 4. Only 4.
You are spot on. Only 4. The Invisible Man, Mulan, Sonic the Hedgehog, and SpongeBob Sponge on the Run. Although technically just 3, as SpongeBob apparently, I didn't know this until I did a bit of research, but it only opened in Canada and went straight to Netflix. So I don't know what's so special about,
Canada.
Well, yeah. Sorry, Nick. But I mean, the connection between SpongeBob and Canada. But who knows? Maybe they're super fans over there.
What's so special about Canada? Put that on a T-shirt, man.
For our next item, if you need a cameo for your next reboot, who are you gonna call?
Oh, it's that's Ghostbusters.
Yep. Do you know who's been hinting at a cameo?
The guy with the glasses, right? And the weird hat, the colander hat.
Yep.
Oh, yes.
His name is Rick Moranis.
He's the guy from Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
Right. Oh.
So yes, Rick has made some comments that hint at a possible cameo in the Ghostbusters Afterlife movie, along with news that they are releasing a special blue Twinkie as part of the marketing in America. For the movie.
Ooh, yum.
And for our final item this week, and this one is going to be worth, well, I want you guys to get ahead of Charles, so
20 points.
72 points.
This next one will be worth 12 points.
Oh.
So, quick off the draw, guys. Here we go. First person in. Which viral video that dropped this past week featured a lizard fighting a monkey?
Godzilla Kong.
Oh, I was thinking like something so dumb, like Aussie Man Reacts or something like that, but no.
The long-awaited Godzilla vs. Kong trailer just dropped, along with an announcement of a March 26th release date.
Oh, I'm so upset. I definitely knew that, but I was thinking viral videos like stupid memes, not. Ugh.
And that's it. So, final scores on the doors. Nat made a valiant effort, and you could argue deserved the win.
I think I was pretty good on the.
I'll take it. I'll
answers.
take it. Let's
20
just
points.
end it here. Just end the podcast here. Everybody heard it. You heard it at home. My many fans. Callum has just announced me as the official winner. You may tune out now.
Made a valiant effort with 20 points, but it is Saul today who snatched victory in the very last moment with 30 points.
Oof.
Which unfortunately means that you don't overtake Charles. So,
Oh no!
Tragedy.
so congratulations, Saul. You've won yourself a true feeling of achievement for at least the next week. I'm afraid for you, Nat, you must wallow in self-pity and defeat.
It's fine.
Was this a good week for the movie business? Do you reckon the news of this past week deserves the official seal of approval?
Just for the wonkers, yes.
In terms of movie news, yes, seal of approval. In terms of what's happening to the industry, can I quote Christopher Nolan in saying HBO Max is the worst streaming service?
Yes, you can. I concur. Quite right. I think I would agree with both of you there. So that's it. Three for three. That is an official seal of approval for this last week. For our audience out there, what was your news highlight of the week? Did we cover it? Did you agree with anything we had to say at all? Let us know. Thanks for joining me today, Nat and Saul, and for all of you at home, and we'll see you next time. He's a very down-to-earth person. You know, you get varying degrees of ego in Hollywood. And
Wait, you've met this man?
Yes.
What? Why didn't you tell me?
I
That's one of the first things you should announce when you meet people, Callum.
work in the film industry. I regularly meet.
You should
So
drop
many
names more
actors.
often. That's just a fact. That's just a fact. You would have been instantly like 5% cooler if I had known.
This podcast would have instantly been listened to 5% more.
Exactly. Yeah. Just drop at the start, at the very beginning, before the seal noises, well, no, I met this famous person before. And then go into the
That has to be in the...
Amazing. That's staying in, lads. That's staying in.
He fixed it in post.